Hi, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. A special thank you to my patrons, Wild Rose, Lauren Chris, That British Unicorn, Jam Beans, Debbie Elliott, and D. Higgins. So, yes, I look a little bit extra today. I do have a ton of glitter on my eyes. I am wearing a floor-length red dress, and I have the brightest orange red on my lips imaginable. This is Cayenne by Bite Beauty, if you guys are wondering. There is no reason for it. I just went a little ham on my makeup, and I felt like you gotta. Every once in a while, you just gotta. Oh, this is a Fitbit. Partner got it for me because I've been complaining about sleep, and he's like, well, this way you'll know how little you're sleeping. I don't know why he thinks that would help, but it's a sweet gesture, and I actually do like it for tracking my steps. All of this is inconsequential. Let's talk about Chantal. So after I talked about her the last time, she did another whole ass live. Now, her lives are very long. They're very, very difficult to edit for me, mostly because she just like rambles a lot, and I'm not about that life. It just takes me forever to edit, to be frank with you. I'm not the greatest editor in the world. I don't have a lot of fancy softwares to like make my life easier, and so a lot of times it's just so time consuming that I often consider just like not even talking about them. Like, as far as I'm concerned, she does no lives. But that wouldn't be authentic. And honestly, most of Chantal's like true inner self, her true thoughts come across, I feel, in those videos where she is like the least scripted. This week in particular has been interesting. She's had only 3 videos and then a ton of community tab posts. Now, for the most part, I'm not going to address them. They are her usual nonsense of people are scrutinizing me, you guys are being mean, I'm not going to talk about my weight journey, I'm going to talk about my weight journey, and you can't stop me. The back and forth that she has, she disabled comments at one point, then she re-abled comments on one point. Honestly, it's not important because all it is just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Like, there's no consistency to anything. So I'm gonna leave that out for the most part altogether. Unless you guys are really interested in it, let me know down below if you guys would be interested in me like going through her actual notes and like giving you my thoughts on what they reveal about like the deeper person that Chantal is. But for the most part, there's nothing in there that really says anything to me other than, I want you guys to take me seriously. Why aren't you taking me seriously when I'm saying that I want to lose weight, even though I've literally said the same thing to you 47 other times? And with all that said, finally, let's jump into it.
Anyway, so I talked to my doctor yesterday, and she was looking over like my blood test results, and apparently my blood glucose random, I think it's called, was like 16 something, which is like apparently like high, and she thinks I'm probably diabetic. So
okay, I know she's talking about her diabetes here again, and while I would be sympathetic, I'm going to reserve judgment and saying anything on that until she's gotten back the results 100%, because we've been down this road before, right? Well, she'll say the doctor thinks that I'm diabetic, and then she'll walk it back immediately afterwards because she doesn't want the actual consequences of having to go on a diet that would be for obesity. So I'm just not going to talk about it. I don't think that it's helpful. I don't think that I get anything productive out of it, and I don't think anybody else gets anything productive out of it until we know 100% for sure. So like, we know 100% for sure that she had C. diff. We know 100% for sure that she has the fatty liver. So those things I think are very relevant. Same thing with her mental health disorders. She's talked 100% that yes, I do have these things, even though she sometimes goes back and says, well, I don't want to talk about it anymore. She's actively admitted to that. So I'm going to leave all of that as is. But this, until I know for sure, I don't want to talk about it, because mostly it doesn't matter what I say. If she walks back the diagnosis a little bit later, I'm going to look like the jackass, right?
just like all these things at once, you know what I mean?
It may feel like all of these things are happening at once, but they're not unexpected. the thing about your body is that human bodies are pretty adaptable. They're remarkable things, honestly. But when they start to fail, it's like one thing gives and then everything gives. You know, she's had small health problems crop up here and there, and she's had them for a very long period of time. So it was only a matter of time until she had something truly big happen. Now, I'm not saying that I want something bad to happen to her, but it doesn't surprise me that it happened. And it doesn't surprise me that stuff is continuing to happen to her. Because once your body starts to break down, if you're at a higher weight, it'll break down faster. It's, think of it kind of like a building, right? If all of your structural support is in place, then everything is fine, even if the building is a little shaky, right? When one structural support gives, all the others are going to come down to. It's kind of like a cascading effect. It's not an exact metaphor for how the human body works because we have a lot of redundancies built in, but it's not entirely inaccurate, I would say.
Thanks, guys. I just wanted to let you know. Yeah, I know, yeah, cyanide. Hopefully, too, with the liver problem, it can be reversed with taking better care of myself. And the problem with that is that that's easier said than done. Even with all these health problems, I still have issues with food, right? So,
yes, you do still have issues with food, Chantal. That's called addiction. You have an addiction. You are an addict. And you're not just an addict to one particular type of food. You're an addict to all types of food, and your particular drug of choice is fast food, right? Anything will do in a pinch, but you prefer fast food. I am not qualified to really give her advice on how to deal with that. I can tell you what helps me. I can tell you what I've seen help other people, but ultimately, given all of the intricacies of who Chantal is, this is something that she needs to talk to a therapist and a dietitian and a doctor, and all of them have to come together and they have to formulate a plan. I don't even think like one individual will be able to help her. I think all of them in conjunction might be able to do something.
December 22nd, I have an appointment. This person is a psychotherapist that's very popular for dealing with people with issues with food. And just by happenstance, I'm like so lucky that they only had one spot left. Bi-weekly spot starting December 22nd. They're not from around here or anything, but I was doing research online like for somebody that could really help me, and so I think that's lucky for me. I'm not really happy, like I'm not really excited to start therapy because every time I start it and then I get scared and I want to drop out. But I'm gonna do it.
In theory, this sounds great. I would love it if Chantal went to therapy. I honest to goodness, what I want to see from Chantal is I want Chantal to get better, and I want her to just keep getting better and better and better and kick ass. Like, I am here for that. I know that sounds insane because of how much I talk about her, but I love seeing health journeys. I love seeing people just kicking butt all day, every day. Like, it's inspiring to me. It's why I follow Michelle McDaniels, Obesetobeast, Jordan Shrinks. I think they're inspirational. They are who I want to be, 100%. That's why I want her to get better. I want her to get better so badly. So if she can go to therapy and if she can see this therapist and she sticks it out and she gets better, I'd be like over the moon about it. Not as much as she'd be, of course, but still, I'd be real happy for her. And this sounds like a great first step, but it's only a good thing. It's only a great first step if you actually stick to it. And that's the issue that Chantal has. A lot of times she'll make these plans, she'll start it, she will go to 1 or 2 sessions, and then they start asking the difficult, uncomfortable questions. And she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to deal with it. I don't know what that thing is, but she doesn't want it in her life. And when that happens, she tends to run from the problem. She'll self-medicate with food. She will, just say, there's nothing wrong, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's wrong. She'll not mention it for a while. And then, it'll go away and then the cycle starts again. She needs to keep going. That first discomfort that you have, you need to push past it. I'm talking about this from personal experience. Therapy sucks. It sucks every time. Every time I have therapy, I feel like I've been metaphorically like dragged over coals. That's kind of like how I feel. I'm crying, I'm gross, I'm unhappy, to the point where normally I like to have some makeup on before I see anybody because that's just how I am. I don't wear anything when I see my therapist because I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna cry anyway. What's the goddamn point? You know? So I get it, but it's also really helpful. It's helped me become a better person. It's helped me become a better partner. It's helped me just evolve as an adult and as a human being. And it's brought me a lot of inner peace and happiness. It genuinely has. I think everyone can benefit from therapy. But especially in Chantal's case, where she obviously has so many issues with food, it can only be a good thing. Even if she never loses a single pound her entire life, I still think therapy would be extremely beneficial. Just having insight into why you do the things that you do, just having help with your internal state, I think is fantastic. It will make her feel so much happier and calmer and feel more fulfilled in her life. And these episodes that she has where she's depressed and unhappy and sad, it can only help with that. I can't stress it enough. For everyone, but especially for Chantal.
So my doctor's referring me to a hepatologist because my spleen was also very enlarged.
Oh, yeah. An enlarged spleen too. That's a lot. So we've got multiple organ systems now. We've got what? Her lungs are compromised. Not her kidneys, sorry. Her liver is compromised. Her spleen, she's saying, is compromised. Aren't the kidneys responsible for producing? God, I can't remember my basic biology. I'm an idiot. I should know this. This is my field. But the islets of Langerhans, where are they? They're in the pancreas, right? She doesn't have a gallbladder. And her stomach and her bowels are also frequently the subject of issues. And, you know, that says nothing about her uterus, that she had to get surgery. So she's now got multiple system complications. And we have no idea how her heart is right now. She's saying that it's fine, but given the level of morbid obesity that she suffers with, I would not be surprised if she has some form of heart disease. This is what I meant about the cascading effect, right? Like one thing and then another thing and then another thing. It's all coming in, one right after the other. And I've said this, oh my God, I've talked about this to death in my other videos, but this is why the idea of metabolic health is such horseshit. Because even if you are metabolically healthy now, you're not going to stay that way in the future. That's why you don't see 80-year-olds that are like 400 pounds, right? You might be metabolically healthy in your 20s, in your 30s, and if you're lucky, even in your 40s. But all of that catches up to you. Everything eventually catches up to you. And even if it doesn't, you are out of the norm in that situation. You might just be lucky, you might be blessed. But not everybody is like that. Most people are going to suffer the consequences of leading this sort of life. And I'm not saying that she needs to aim for becoming like a super skinny legend. Like she needs to be out here looking like Bella Hadid, you know? Like that's not what I'm asking for, or I don't even think that's something she should aim for. If she can get down to like 200 pounds, which would still put her in the obese category, she would have a happier and healthier life by such a long stretch. She would go on to live such a happier life. She would go on to live such a more fulfilling life. She'd be able to do so much more. And I genuinely think that she would be so much happier. I know this is like not really connected to her spleen. It's just, I have so many thoughts about this. And for all that, I give Chantal a lot of shit. And I do give her quite a bit of shit, right? I don't want to see anything bad happen to her. And the fact that I often find myself feeling like I am more concerned about that than she is concerned about that is what leads me to have all of these negative feelings towards her. Because that shouldn't be true. I don't know you personally on a human-to-human basis. You're not my friend. You're not my cousin. But I care anyway because you're a person on the internet whose journey I've been following for a while. And the fact that you continue to put yourself in this position where you're just causing yourself pain, it's mind-boggling to me. why you don't want to get better, why you can't see what everybody else can see, why you refuse to see it, honestly. It's not even that you can't see it. You don't want to. You choose this. That's the part that upsets me.
Also, she's referring me to weight loss surgery, or the bariatric clinic anyways, for the surgery.
Bariatric surgery is actually really, really interesting. If you guys are curious, I can make an entire video just talking about bariatric surgery somewhere down the line. Once more, these are not videos that do very well, but I care about them, and if someone else is interested, I'm more than happy to do so. The basic theory behind bariatric surgery is that they like shrink your stomach in some capacity, or they bypass your stomach, depending on what type you have. And a lot of times the way they work on a deeper level is that they reset your metabolism, and they can help you lose a lot of weight very, very fast. But that's not going to help Chantal. Her problems with food are much greater than just eating, right? Because she said before that if there's nothing else in the house and she gets the mind to binge, she will binge on condiments. And that says to me something greater than just self-control. She has emotional eating problems. And until those are addressed, nothing is going to help her. And honestly, I think bariatric surgery might even put her in greater harm's way, because she might end up like blowing her stitches or something like that. And I think that could hurt her a lot more. That's why they have such strong like psych evals that you have to pass before you can get bariatric surgery. Because if you haven't resolved your issues with food, if you have them, you might end up in a significantly worse situation. And that makes no mention of the fact that even with bariatric surgery, the recidivism rate for weight regain is so incredibly high. It's better, of course, than traditional weight loss, but it's still extremely high. So she still needs to work at it. It's not a magic pill. You don't just get the surgery and then you're better. It's still you. It's a tool. It's a thing that can help you. But it's not a fix-all. There is no fix-all. There is no magic cure. No one can like Wingardium Leviosa it to betterness. You're never gonna be able to do that. You have to do this yourself, and you have to do the work every single day. That's why weight loss is hard. That's why it sucks. It's not a one-time battle. It's an everyday battle. And maybe one day you get to the point where you're not as exhausted when you're fighting, but it's still gonna be there.
So yeah, like I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, really. I'm so confused diet-wise.
Wait, wasn't she told to do the obesity code diet? Right? She was told that, right? Like, I'm not remembering incorrectly. Why isn't she just following that? I mean, it's not that hard. If she doesn't have it or she can't find the paperwork, you can Google it. I Googled it. I didn't know what the obesity code diet was before this point, so I Googled it, and the information is there. It's actually not even that hard. Like, you can get into a little bit in the weeds, but if she even follows the principles on like a high level, I think she'd do great.
The thing is like, it's like no matter how much, like if I eat like all day healthy, even if I eat a lot of fulfilling healthy foods, I still feel like I haven't really eaten if I don't eat like something that is more addictive, like French fries or like a cheeseburger, or do you know what I'm saying? I just constantly just feel hungry if I'm, do you know what I mean? It's like so weird. Anyways, it's like I'll eat a healthy meal that I cooked, and then I'll get a nagging, and then I'll give in and eat something bad, and then that like nag will go away for now, you know?
Yes, my dear. That's called addiction. Next. Okay, so now she's doing her obesity like vlogs. So these generally tend to be my more preferred videos. I like her try-on hauls the best, to be honest. I think those are very fun. I actually really enjoy watching them, even if I do like critique her looks. But that's more from a fashion point of view than anything else. I'm not like sitting there being like, she looks fat and hideous. I'm just talking about aesthetically what she's going for and what could help and what could detract from it. And I genuinely like watching them, because being a bigger person, it can be harder to find clothes that you like, that fit you, and that look good and that are fashionable and trendy. So that I appreciate. These tend to be my second favorite types of videos. Unfortunately, I have skimmed through these videos, and both of them are basically the same in that she starts off as a vlog and then it quickly devolves into a mukbang. Like very quickly. Like the majority of both of these videos are just mukbangs. A vlog implies that you're doing something else in your life as well. If you're just eating, then it's a what I eat in a day / mukbang, essentially, right? Like eat with me videos. And I can understand if you're not doing much, that you might not have anything else to do, but this was not it. Like she's saying she's cleaning and stuff like that. She could just have shown us that. Once more, not out here saying that she should just make up stuff or like she needs to be doing more, going out or whatever. I can understand right now, especially during, the holidays with COVID and whatnot, that it might be hard to have an interesting quote unquote life. I don't have an interesting life. I've literally not gone anywhere. I basically spent the entirety of my weekend baking like 400 cookies so I could make like cookie boxes for my friends. So I get it, right? Like I'm not saying that she should do things, invent things to do, whatever. I can get that life can be a little bit boring right now, but then label them something else. Label them eat with me. I don't want her to think that this is what a vlog should be. It's less about like baiting her audience, because I think most people watching Chantal expect there to be an element of food in all of her videos. But I don't want her to associate vlogging with just showing people food. I don't want her to associate vlogging with just sitting in one spot and eating for a prolonged period of time. I want her to associate vlogging with a day in the life of. You can call it an eat with me even, right? Like I think that would have been better. I still don't like it. I think doing a what I eat in a day is great. If she really wants to show her food but still have it be almost like a vlog, call it a what I eat in a day and just show us little snippets of what you ate. Like be like, this is what I'm eating, and then have the food. Even if you want to take a couple bites, tell people like how it tastes, and then be like, okay, eat it off camera, come back, be like, this is how much I ate. It was pretty good. These are my final thoughts on it. I just don't want her to associate those two things. I worry a lot of times that in Chantal's head, all of the video content that she's produced will eventually just boil down to her sitting there eating on camera. And I want her to have as much content that is completely unrelated to food that does well as humanly possible, because that's what's going to incentivize her to keep moving in that direction and to try and limit food as much as possible.
And we're just going to take it one meal at a time today. For breakfast, I already reached for my Uber Eats and was like, oh man, looking at all these crepes for breakfast. Wanted to order from Cora, nice coffee and a crepe with chocolate and fruit and then like sausage and eggs. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to make my own breakfast. I'm just taking it one meal at a time, saying no, and trying to come up with my alternative. So
I think I've mentioned this briefly before, but I had a problem with overconsumption. It's one of the reasons why I actually have so much makeup. If you guys have ever looked down below, by the way, if you guys are ever curious what I'm wearing on my face, I always list everything down below. But one of the reasons why I switch up my palette so often is because I have a ridiculous amount of makeup. And I truly mean like an actually ridiculous amount of makeup. Like we'll put some beauty YouTubers to shame type of makeup. And I had much, much more. This is way pared down. Like I had to move a couple times. I had to get rid of so much of stuff. And what I found was that when I had the shopping apps on my phone, I had Sephora, I had Ulta, Amazon, all of those things installed on my phone. It was very easy for me just to hop on there and be like, buy, 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 buy. And I wanted to stop doing that. I just wanted to buy less things. So what I did was I deleted everything off my phone. I deleted all of the shopping apps. I deleted, I think now it's called Rakuten, but back then I think it was Ebates. I deleted Ebates off my phone. I deleted everything. So if I wanted to actually buy something, I would have to go to the website in my like Safari browser, whatever, and then I would have to do it on my phone. That way, everything wouldn't be saved there. I don't have Rakuten, so it'd be hard for me to log in. All of that, just to put as many hurdles there for myself as possible between me wanting a thing and me buying a thing. And what that just helped me do is it gave me a couple of extra seconds to think it through. Do I really want to do this? Do I really need this? And it helped. It really did. Another thing was, of course, that I stopped following all like people who were like pushing products. I still watch a few beauty individuals, but they're more focused on other aspects of the beauty world and less on the aspects of buy, buy, buy. And that really made a huge difference. And I think that's what she needs to do. She needs to stop following all mukbang channels, even cooking channels if they trigger her right now. Stop watching and consuming that kind of content. And she needs to delete every single one of those apps off her phone. Skip the Plates, Uber Eats, I don't know what else they have in Canada, Grubhub, E24, whatever. Delete everything. All of those apps, get rid of them on your phone, clear out your cache of like saved passwords on your phone, make it as hard for yourself to order things online. And I think that will make a huge difference.
Body weight is 390.8 pounds. Body weight is 390.8 pounds.
That's pretty awesome. That's when they weighed me at the hospital, I was 400, I think 0.4. Anyway, that's a good good first weigh-in. I know my house is a bit of a disaster right now, but one day it won't be, and you'll be like, wow, look at your nice place. Still good. In my coffee, no sugar. And I'm gonna put some in my cereal. Hi, big boy. You gonna watch me eat breakfast now? I heard that coffee is good for improving liver function, but I'm not too sure. That's what I read. Yes. That first sip. You know what I mean? Oh, Sam. So let's try these cheesy. I have just pepper, no salt. I'm proud of my breakfast. I'm proud of my weigh-in.
She's glad that she's down 10 pounds, and I'm glad for her as well. Every pound that she has that falls off of her body, regardless of what kind of weight it is one less pound on her organ systems, on her bones, on her joints, on everything. So 1 pound gone is 1 pound healthier that she is. That said, she has very little to actually do with this weight loss. She was sick for a very long period of time, and she couldn't really eat much, and she was pooping all of the time. And just between dehydration and the lack of food that she was eating, it's probably what caused the weight loss that she's seeing. I'm almost certain it's just water weight. I said this before in multiple other videos, but I will reiterate it because I'm nothing if not redundant. But when you eat less carbs, your body will expel additional water. For every 4 grams of carbs, you need to have 1 gram of water that your body needs to retain so that you can just process the carbs, right? Which is why when you first go on keto, you see this sudden outflush of weight. You'll see like people will drop like 10, 20 pounds just overnight. It's not actual weight, it's water weight. For someone at her size, she can hold a lot of water and she can lose it, and it will make a huge difference on all of her body. But it's not like she's lost fat. And more importantly, she had nothing to do with this. That weight loss was entirely involuntary. And that's a problem. You can't expect that kind of weight loss every time, right? More than likely, you're going to be seeing 1 pound, 2 pounds, half a pound even weight loss. Heck, you might even go up a pound every once in a while. You have to understand that that sort of weight loss is all dependent on water weight and illness. And if that's the kind of weight loss you expect to see going forward week to week, especially with somebody with an eating addiction, it's not going to be healthy and it's not going to be sustainable. I just don't want her to get her expectations up. That's all. That's why I think that this weight loss might actually be problematic for her going forward. I feel like it's going to trick her into thinking this is what weight loss needs to be for her. And I don't think that's true.
It's that dress I had. Not sure if you can see, but just black leggings. Nothing too exciting. But this is a very long, it's a dress you can wear with leggings. And I like that it's really long. So
Ooh, I like that. I would wear that. I would genuinely wear that dress. I think it looks beautiful. It reminds me of a ColourPop palette. If I can remember, I'll throw it up here somewhere, up here. The Baroque palette. It's very like dark florals, and I actually really like dark florals. For all that I don't like giant floral patterns as a whole, This I like a lot. It works with her makeup, her hair looks nice, and it's really flattering on her too. The way that it sits on her body, it gives her the illusion of a waist, like it cuts her in the middle, and it gives her the illusion of a waist, and then it flows past her lower stomach, and so it sort of conceals everything else. I think this is a great choice. You should buy stuff in that sort of shape more often.
La da 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 da. So this is from Mucho Burrito. This is a lunch, my lunch. I ate breakfast at what, 8? It is 2:49. That breakfast held me over. And I'm just really trying to listen to my body, and like when I'm really hungry, I'll eat. But when I got my blood done. So this is a, if it fits in your calories, meal. I'm not gonna lie and pretend that I'm gonna cut out all takeout.
No one is asking her to cut all takeout out of her diet. No one has ever said that. But today is day 1. And I have made this point in other videos, but I'll say it here again, that on day 1, it's both the hardest and easiest because it's hard to get to that day 1, right? Sometimes you have this mentality of, I'll start tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow. And that tomorrow never comes. But you will, but once you get to that tomorrow, once you're there, it's great. But when you get there, the amount of willpower required will generally carry you through the first few days, right? You will go through those first few days in like that haze of happiness, like the honeymoon period, thinking, I could do this. God, it's just food. Why are people always so freaking out about this? I got this. I got this. And then, reality sets in and you start missing all the foods you've eaten, and like, you see friends having things and you can't have them. And then you're like, oh, maybe if I just had a little bit, like that's how I kind of feel like it happens for a lot of people. If you're already having issues regulating that on the first day, it doesn't say great things about the mental space that you are in. More importantly, Chantal has mentioned many times in the past how just getting takeout it's a weird thing for her, where she starts with wanting to get something healthy and it very quickly devolves into her eating 3 meals a day from like unhealthy fast foody places, right? So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like this just feels bad. That's all I'm saying. This feels like she wants it to be a good thing, but it's not going to be.
I don't think I can do that cold turkey, honestly. And what I'm going for is changes I can be consistent with, and using my FitnessPal, and that's where I'm starting.
Yes, she should track. Most people who successfully keep the weight off track their calories for a pretty long period of time. So absolutely you should track. Also, yes, small, consistent changes. That's what you want to do to have sustainable weight loss. But that is for someone who is not a food addict. When you are an addict, there are different considerations for you. And I don't think she's taking any of that into account. She thinks, well, if this is what they recommend for an ordinary person, then it should work for me, without keeping in mind any of the complexities of her particular situation. And this is where I think the part of her brain that should register herself as an addict doesn't. I think she sees this as a thing that she can use as a shield without really understanding that, no, that's who she is. It's not a mask that she's got on. That's her. She is a food addict. I don't think she fully internalizes what that actually means, which is why she can sit there and just say glib things like, yeah, well, I can eat this, and yeah, this is just a small change and I'm going to make healthier options. Most people who just eat a bad diet can do that. But when you are an addict, there's a really high chance that you're going to devolve into disordered behavior again. And you don't have any of the skills that you would need to avoid falling into that trap, especially not yet. And I feel, and I don't have any experience here, this is just something that I learned from my own time in therapy, is that when you are first trying to acquire those skills, it's best to maybe not test them quite so frequently, right? So give it some time until you've really got those skills down packed, and then start putting them into application in your day-to-day life, especially when you're in such precarious physical health as she is.
I want to say I did eat out a couple of times recently. Not the healthiest food, but what I did was I ate like half of the portion, maybe even less. So, and there was like a lot of time in between the meals, and I still lost that weight.
She's doing it again. She's using her weight loss as justification to eat crap. And we've seen this sort of disordered thinking from her before. And we just saw it a little while ago with the 10-pound weight loss, right? My worry was that she would think that this 10-pound weight loss was what was normal and that she should be seeing that moving forward. And if she didn't see it, she'd restrict more and more, and that might lead her into binging. But equally as likely as her doing this, not realizing that it is the result of her illness and not necessarily anything she's done, she might just think, oh, well, I ate terribly before and I still lost all this weight. That means I can keep eating terribly now and continue to lose weight. No, this is just your addiction driving your thought patterns. This is your addiction essentially steering you towards the option that would keep the addiction going. You need to be smarter. And I don't for a second think that Chantal's an idiot, right? She does stupid shit. She might be ignorant at times, but I don't think she's dumb. I think that Chantal has the capability of understanding what she's doing. I think this is willful ignorance on her part. She doesn't want to know.
I checked in online and they said it was like 0 minute wait. So I thought, good, I'll check in online just in case. Well, because of COVID, you have to stand in line and you have to be screened before you go in to sit down. And with my shortness of breath and chest pain from the pulmonary embolism, it's like hard for me to just stand there. And he was helping a woman who was like, didn't seem to understand that she had to give a urine sample. She brought her own like little bottle.
Does Chantal not learn from past behavior? Or is it like a blank slate? Every time she does something, she's like, I'm going to have a different reaction this time because I'm a different person now. And they're all different people too. None of history is real. Time is an illusion. And I am completely free of sin. The last time that she was at a hospital where she decided to essentially make fun of somebody else there, she got a lot of flack. And that's kind of what's going to happen this time. Somebody came in and they were confused about the urine sample. Now, maybe this person is from a different country. Maybe this person is old. Maybe this person is, I don't know. Maybe they just don't understand things and they're easily confused, like I am sometimes. That doesn't mean that you should mock them. It doesn't mean that you should make fun of them. Especially because the way that it sounds when you're talking about it is that you're irritated with them because they made you wait in line for a few extra seconds. This is a task that you should be able to do. The fact that you can't do it and it caused you distress is not anybody else's problem. That is a you problem. That would be the definition of a you problem.
I think there's two, just like, even if you make it homemade, there's just something about getting it out. You know, that's what I love to do. Also has Cojita cheese. I guess what I'm trying to do is probably have the best of both worlds.
Yes, ma'am. That's called laziness. Good God. All right. This is a little interlude in the middle of the video. Now, if you guys all watch all of my videos, which if you don't, you should, I had mentioned something about a little giveaway. Now, this is something that I've stolen from a different creator, SmokeySteveAndMarc. I saw them talk about doing a secret giveaway, and I thought, that sounds like a fun idea. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm doing secret giveaways, plural. this coming week, I am going to essentially, just in the middle of my videos, I'm going to throw in a question, right? We don't know if it's going to be in all of the videos. We don't know if it'll just be in one of the videos, but I will have a question in each and every video. But I will have a question in a video, at least one, but probably more than one. And you have to let me know the answer to that question down below. The way this works is you need to have your subscriptions on public so that I can actually see that you're subscribed to me. And you have to answer my question, and I'll pick one person at random in each of the videos where I have given the question, and you'll win a prize. I don't know what that prize is yet. Well, actually, I do know. I don't know why I'm being so coy. I have picked out a couple of makeup-y things that I will be giving away, and if the person who wins happens to be, a dude who does not enjoy makeup, or a lady who does not enjoy makeup, or a person who does not enjoy makeup, I will find something else. I'll pick a different thing. Maybe we'll come to it together. I don't know yet. This is not very formal. I haven't thought it through. My first giveaway I thought very carefully through. This one, not so much. So, look forward to that. This will be fun, and I'm excited. And with that, back to the video. All right, the rest of this is just a mukbang. It just evolved into a full-on gross mukbang, and, well, it wasn't gross. It was gross in her behavior, not gross so much that she was eating disgustingly. So, either way, I'm not interested in it, and I'm kind of upset that she did this, to be very honest. So, there's a couple things she says, but most of them are just repetitive and redundant. I'm just going to move on. Next.
All right, guys, time for breakfast. These bananas are so ripe. Oh. So last night, I only ended up... I was going to turn the light on. The lighting's bad in here. Sorry about that. I ended up going to bed from like 6:30 or so, 7 maybe, till like midnight. And I woke up. Wasn't really hungry, so like all I had was that burrito bowl, and then I had some, this is like banana with raspberry. I've been really loving this. This looks like a hot first sip, but let's try.
All right, her breakfast looks fine, but she's got those cheesy eggs, and the fat in there isn't great for her gallbladder. So I mean, if she isn't feeling that great, should she be eating that much fat? Because like it will irritate her stomach again. I don't know. I guess technically all of this follows the obesity code diet. So I mean, like, I guess it's fine, but I don't know. And if she is diabetic, this is not a great breakfast at all. Once more, going to reserve most of my judgment, but if you're diabetic, you want to keep a pretty low carb diet, right? Like keto is probably what you want to aim for if you don't have any like kidney complications and whatnot and any other like health conditions, then keto is generally your better option if you're dealing with diabetes.
I'm trying to add as much nutritious food as I can.
I'm leaving this clip in so you guys can see that she literally invited comments from other people and then got mad when people had comments. I can't make this crap up, yo.
Hey guys, so I ordered something for lunch, and the theme of today's vlog is along the lines of how to choose healthier options. So the point is choosing healthier options, especially when eating out, which for a lot of us, for a lot of people is unavoidable. And if you are going to eat out, at least you can choose healthy options. So
God help me. You are not one of those people. You are not one of the people for whom eating fast food is not avoidable. You are one of the people who it is the most avoidable for, right? You have the availability, the funds to actually order your groceries to be delivered to your home each and every day should you so desire. You don't really need to leave the house. You don't have like kids that you got to drive to school or back and forth. You don't have any other responsibilities. Your work is from home. You can literally order groceries to your house, stay at home and cook all of your food. You are not one of them. Additionally, I don't like this justification of, well, you know, sometimes people just need to do it, and so I'm showing you how to eat healthier options at home. You are a food addict, ma'am. This is the equivalent of someone who's addicted to Vicodin coming on here and telling me how to manage my pain medication. you don't know anything. You are not somebody that I can trust because you have shown a clear lack of understanding of this issue in the past. You should not be getting food from outside. Okay. I am not saying that she can never eat from outside, but doing this is now, what, two times where she's had a video that she's making and she's done it both times. This just says to me that she still doesn't actually understand that getting food from outside is not a good thing. And then on top of that, I mean, just the food that she has gotten. This is stuff for the most part that she could easily make at home, right? You'll see in a little bit. I'll reiterate it later when it comes back on, but it's ridiculous to me, quite frankly, that she feels the need to get takeout like every single day. Delete the apps and stop getting takeout. Make yourself make your food. That will burn some calories, if nothing else.
So it's not just that it's unavoidable, it's enjoyable for people, it's a social thing, and a lot of people just like to eat out. So there are healthier options you can choose.
This is not a teaching moment, Chantal. This is not a teaching moment. You're not teaching people how to do better. You haven't figured any of this stuff out for you to be giving out advice like this. You haven't lost all of the weight. Like Jordan Shrinks and Obesetobeast can talk about things from their own experience of losing a massive amount of weight. You haven't done that. You haven't earned that privilege, so to speak. I don't understand where you are coming from with this nonsense. And again, yes, eating is a social activity. People eat when they're with family. People eat when they're with friends, but not you. Right now, during COVID, you should not be going over to anybody else's house. You are with Pete's, but 9 times out of 10, y'all don't eat together either. And even when you're eating, when you're not in COVID times, you eat in your car by yourself 9 times out of 10. Sitting there on camera while you do it does not make it a social interaction. The people who are on the screen can't really interact with you in a way that I think should count.
And this is today's meal. Okay, and this is the now.
And see, this is the thing. This is the meal that she's gotten. And yes, she's not technically wrong. This meal is fine as a meal. And if she was doing this 2 months into her weight loss journey and she'd gotten consults with the doctor and they'd said, yep, it's fine to get this every once in a while, and she was doing all of that as well, I would have no problem. I would commend her for this meal choice. But that's not where she's at right now. She is on day 2. She's on day 2 of a healthy eating plan, and she is already showing the propensity to break her own rules and bend her own rules and mold it basically into what she wants. And what she wants is to be able to get food from outside every single day. And I don't really understand the compulsion that she has to do that, right? There are some things that I can just not make at home, right? There is no amount of stuff that I can do at home that will convince me that double frying chicken is a good idea. I physically cannot make myself do it because it hurts me on the inside soul places. So if I have to eat that, I will get it from outside because I can't do that to myself. I need someone to cook for me who does not give a crap about my heart health. So I'll get something like that from outside. There's also flavoring things, and I'm an amateur cook, so sometimes stuff just doesn't taste as good when I make it. So I can understand that, right? I can understand that it's never going to be quite as good as when you get it from outside. But even more than that, she just has this weird need to get food that would taste pretty much exactly the same if you made it at home. A couple of I think videos ago, she'd done this whole thing where she'd gotten eggs and sausage and all of that from outside. And all of that basically just looked like it would taste exactly the same had it come out of a package, right? Some breakfast sausages out of a package, some eggs that she cooked in a pan. None of it, I think, was special enough to have warranted ordering it from outside. I just don't understand why she feels the need to do that other than just sheer laziness. That is the only explanation to me that makes sense, that she just doesn't want to cook. And if that's how she feels, then she can batch prepare something, cook once and eat 5 times.
I'm going to do these videos sometimes where I eat with you guys, healthier options. I don't think the act of eating something on camera is the destructive aspect of it. I'd say the more, unhealthy aspect of eating on camera depends on what you eat, how much you eat.
No, she is 100% wrong. Eating on camera in and of itself is bad for her because unlike with some people, for her, eating on camera always leads to other worse things down the line. First of all, it always escalates for her. Every single time she starts off eating healthy, and then it escalates and it devolves into eating terrible food 3 times a day, right? It has. Every time in the past it's happened. So you can't expect something different to happen now. Second, eating on camera gives her a weird justification that I am doing this for work. So I can do this, right? I have to do this. I need to do this because if I don't, I might not be able to make money. And you use that justification then to binge. So no, maybe for some people, it's just how much they're eating and what they're eating, but it's not for you, okay? I don't know who I was watching, but probably Milk Tea Reacts, who had mentioned that when she talks to a therapist, she needs to be 100% clear about the fact that food is also involved in her job. And this is why you need to be so clear with your therapist, because otherwise she might do all of the other things. She might try and get rid of food from all other avenues in her life and then just use her channel as an excuse to binge. And honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if that happened. I just don't think that Chantal is still quite understanding why this is a problem. And until it really registers with her that she's a food addict and that she can't do stuff like this, I don't think it's going to change. That and therapy, like obviously. She needs to both understand and accept that she is an addict and also do intensive therapy.
For places like McDonald's, if you're really craving McDonald's really bad, sometimes it's better to find an alternative and eat something at McDonald's. Give in to that craving instead of not, and then possibly going haywire and binging on it.
She's not entirely right. If you really, really want something, like say you are like getting a really strong hankering for chicken nuggets, right? You just want McDonald's chicken nuggets. Buy a 5 chicken nugget piece meal, right? I don't know. I don't think I've ever eaten chicken nuggets from McDonald's, so I'm not entirely sure. But I think you can buy them in like a 5-piece set, right? So buy a 5-piece set, eat them, and then just think to yourself, okay, am I satisfied? Was that good enough? Wait maybe a couple minutes and be like, well, no, I kind of feel like having a little bit more. And then you can go back and you can get another 5-piece. And I know that might be more expensive than just having gotten the 10-piece beforehand. But you will be much more thankful if you eat the 5 pieces and you're like, you know what, I'm actually good. I don't need to eat anymore. I don't really feel like having any more chicken nuggets. I satisfied that craving and now I'm good. I think that's a much, much better way of dealing with a craving if it's like very specific, right? If you just have a craving for like, I just want to drink something cold and sweet, then maybe try having like a cold ice water with like one of those little flavorants in it, right? Maybe try something like that. But if it's a very specific craving, like I want to have McDonald's chicken nuggets, don't try and trick your brain by saying, well, maybe I can see if I can get like the frozen ones from the store that are like air fried instead, you know, like that might not do it. And then what might end up happening is that you eat those air fried ones and you eat some chips and you eat an ice cream cone. And then you're like, screw it. I'm just going to go to McDonald's and I'm going to eat the nuggets anyway. And once more, all this information is for people who are non-addicts. For addicts, I don't know what works because I am not a food addict. Chantal is. That's why she needs to talk to a therapist who can guide her through this process and listen to the experts and not just, I don't know, do whatever she thinks that her body needs. Because if she knew what her body needed, she wouldn't be 400 pounds. It's as simple as that. The proof is quite literally in the pudding. Anyway, I'm not going to react to the rest of it. Once more, it devolves into a mukbang, and she repeats the same stuff that she has before, and I don't care. None of it is important. All of it is garbage. So I'm kind of irritated with her. I'll be very honest with you. This week is not going the way that I'd hoped that it would be going. It's going better than I had honestly thought, but still not as good as I had hoped. So still a little upset. But, you know, maybe she turns it around, maybe she does much better, and maybe I'm wrong and full of shit. Who knows? It's known to happen before, okay? A time or two, I have been known to be full of shit, so let's see. And that, I think, will be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated this video, you can give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's decision here. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all if you want to know when I upload any video. I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram where I've got all my food stuff and my life stuff, but I'm not really doing anything right now, so it's just food. And then I've got my Twitter account linked down below. I'm a little toxic and a little petty on Twitter, but it's also the easiest place to reach me. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's where you can do it. And I've got Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job that I'm doing here and you'd like me to continue, consider tossing a few coins in my direction and becoming a patron. If you're not into Patreon, you can also join the community. You can become a member of our community. This week, the poll goes up, okay? After this video, hopefully. The post is going to go up, and it's going to ask you guys what you guys think is the best name for the community, and that's what we're going to call it. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to that. And you can do that, and you can also become a community member, and you can toss a few coins in my direction there and help a girl out. You don't have to. Please don't feel obligated. But, you know. But if you could, that would be nice, and I'd appreciate it. Anyway. As always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace. I filmed almost 10 minutes worth of material at this angle. Can you just imagine? It's just an entire video where all you can see is from here to here of my face. Contrary to popular belief, this is not, in fact, tea. I am drinking coffee in my fanciest cups. Ooh, that tag was showing the whole time.